Hi guys, today we're gonna learning how to name Alkane's structure. And if you stay with me to the end of this video, you could name this structure yourself.
They can't name it.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't.
They can.
No.
Let's do that. Alkane's structure is composed two chains. The main chain, which is composed and contains the most number of carbon. It's named based on this table. As you see, when we have only one carbon, the name is methane. 2 carbon, ethane. 3 carbon, propane. 4, butane, and the others. And the substituent change is the other elements and material that are not in our main chain, and they're named based on alkyl. For example, when we have one carbon, the name is methane, it's changed to methyl when it's not in our main chain, as you see it in here. So, to start, we have to observe 3 steps and 3 notes. And when we consider these 2, no structure can escape from us. For example, let's start with a simple structure. In step 1, we have to find the longest carbon chain and name it. So, if you start numbering from the straight way, we'll face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 carbon. And then we numbering from down to right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon. And if you number from down to left, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 carbon. So the longest number of carbon is the straight way that we have 6 carbon. We choose it as our main carbon chain, and the name of 6 carbon based on alkane is hexane. So step 1 is done. In step 2, we have to find the substituent, change, and name it. In here we have only 1 carbon that it's not in our main chain. And the name of 1 carbon based on alkyl is methyl or methyl. So step 2 is done too. In step 3, we have to number our main chain from the way that is nearer to substituent group. If you start naming from left to right, we'll face the substituent change that in here it is methyl in carbon number 3. And if you start numbering from right to left, we see the substituent group in carbon number 4. So the nearer way to substituent group is left right, and we will number our main chain in this way. Step 3 is done. So it's time to name our structure. When we want to name our structure, we have to start naming and writing its substituent group. In here we have methyl that sticks to carbon number 3. So we write 3 methyl, but as the note number 3, we have to put a line between number and words. So we put line between 3 and methyl or methyl, and in the end we have to write our main chain, that in here it is hexane. It's done. Well, let's determine the name of this structure. We have to go ahead steps by steps. In step 1, we have to find the longest carbon chain and name it. In this case, we can count the carbon in a straight way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon in a straight way. But if you start from here, we have 2 carbon here, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So in a straight way we have 6 carbon, and in this way we have 7 carbon. So the main carbon change is this one. Okay, the name of 7 carbon based on alkane, we know that it is heptane. So step 1 is done. In step 2, we have to identify and name group attached to the chain based on the name alkyl. We have only 1 carbon that it's not in our base carbon chain, and the name of 1 carbon in name of alkyl is methyl or methyl. And we go to the step 3. In step 3, we have to number the longest change from the way is nearer to the substituent group. Substituent group are exactly the alkyl group, that here it is methyl. So if I start counting, in here we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we face the substituent group in carbon number 3. But if you start from here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. We face the substituent group in carbon number 5. So the right way is this one, that we face the substituent group in carbon number 3. Okay, step number 3 is done too. So let's name it. It is 3 methyl heptane. Start from the straight way. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. If we start from this way, we have 2 carbon, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 again. So when both of them are in the same number, it doesn't matter that you start from which way. I choose the straight way for our base carbon change. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 carbon. 8 carbon in name of alkane is octane. Okay, so step 1 is done. In step 2, we have to draw a circle around all of the substituent group. We have 3 substituent group in here. Let's name it. 1 carbon is methyl or methyl. 2 carbon is ethyl. And this one is chloro. Well, Step 2 is done too. In step 3, we have to number the structure. If we start from here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But if you start from right to left, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. As you see, from left to right, in carbon number 3 we face the substituent group, but from right to left, in carbon number 4 we face the substituent. So the right way for numbering is left to right. Well, step 3 is done too. Let's name it. In here we have to consider one note. As you see, we have some substituent group, but we have to start naming from which one of them. In note number 1, we see that we have to name the substituent group in alphabetical order. What that means? It means that when we have to start naming and we have several substituent group, we have to write the substituent group in first that it is closer to A, B, C, D or alphabetical order. It will start with E. Let me choose another color to see it better. It starts with E. Chloro starts with C. And methyl starts with M. As you know, C is closer to A, B, C, D, and we have to start naming with chloro. So we write 5 chloro, 3 ethyl or ethyl, again 3 methyl, and the name of base structure octane. Specify the name of this structure. As a step 1, we have to find the longest carbon change. Well, as you see, we have straight way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 carbon. You can start naming and numbering from here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it doesn't matter that you choose which one of them. I choose this one as the main carbon chain. Terminate in step 1, you could do step 1 and 3 simultaneously. You start numbering from here. We saw substituent group in carbon number 2, but if we start numbering from right to left, we see the substituent group in carbon number 4. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is closer to substituent group. So the right way for naming is left to right. We do step 1 and 3 at the same time. Step 2, we have to determine the name of substituent groups. One carbon is methyl, chloro. Again, this is methyl, and again chloro. And this one is bromo. So we did step 2. But naming we have to consider note 1 that we have to start naming from the substituent that is closer to A in alphabetical order. Let's start with M, chloro start with C, again methyl M,
chloro C, and bromo start with B. So we have to write bromo first because it's a start with B and it is closer to A. So we write it 4 because it sticks to carbon number 4 for bromo. And then we have to write chloro because it is after B. But here we have 2 chloro. What we have to do? We have to note if there are same substituent group, we have to use the prefix di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, and others. We use di for 2, 3, for 3 same, tetra for 4 same substituent groups. For example, here we have 2 chloros, so we use di. They attach to number 3 and carbon number 5. So we write 3 and 5 chloro and 2 methyl carbon number 2 and the other one sticks to carbon number 4. 3 and 4 methyl, and we have to write name of base carbon change. That we have 8 carbon, and we know the name of 8 carbon in name of alkane is octane.
In the beginning of this video, we're supposed to name a big structure, and it's time to do it. As the other example, in step 1 we have to find the longest carbon chain. So if you start numbering in a straight way, we have 8 carbon. And when you start naming from down to right, we have again 8 carbon. But from top of the left, we have 9 carbon. If we open that C2 in the top of the right to 2 single carbon, so the most number of carbon is, and we choose it as our main carbon chain. So step 1 is done. In step 2 we have to name the substituent group, and we know that any group and element and material that they are not in our base carbon chain are substituent group. We face a carbon down here, and we know the name of one carbon based on alkyl is methyl. Then we will see a Br that we know the name of Br is bromo. In the top of that we have a chloro, and then again we see a methyl. Then when we go straight ahead, we will see a C2 that we know the name of C2 based on alkyl is ethyl. Then we see again a chloro, and in the end we see a methyl. So step 2 is done. In step 3 we have to start naming from the way that is closer to the substituent group. If you start naming from top of the right to left, we will face the substituent group in carbon number 3. But if you start numbering from left to right, we will see the substituent group in carbon number 2. So the right way for numbering is left to right. Now it's time to write our big structure name by helping from 3 notes. As we know, we have to start writing from the substituent group that it is closer to A, B, C, D. So we check the first character of all of these substituent groups name. As we know, bromo starts with B and it's closer to A. Then chloro, and after that ethyl, and at the end methyl. So we will start with bromo. Bromo attached to carbon number 3. So we will write 3 dash bromo, and again dash for another number. As we see here, we have 2 chloro. That's one of them attached to carbon number 3 and the other one sticks to carbon number 6. So we will write 3, 6 dash. Because we have 2 chloro, we have to write di. So we will write di chloro, again dash, and we have to write after chloro ethyl. That's the ethyl attached to carbon number 5. We will write 5 dash ethyl, and at the end we have to write methyl. That the first one attached to carbon number 2 and the next one sticks to carbon number 4 and the last one attached to carbon number 7. So we have to write after dash 2, 4, 7 dash. As we have 3 methyl, we have to use the prefix 3, and after that methyl, and at the end we have to write the name of our main carbon chain. That in here we have 9 carbon, and we know the name of 9 carbon based on alkane is nonane. So the name of this big structure is revealed.
You shouldn't reveal the name. I will come back and take revenge on you.
Good luck. In the next video we'll learn how to name alkene and alkyne as easy as it's possible. Stay with us and be your best.